2, 3, funky.
Hey guys, my name is Jess and welcome to my channel. So I figured to start off the channel, it would be a good idea to start with an about me video so you can get to know about me. I compiled a ton of questions, about 60 questions, that will range from really basic questions to deep and personal questions. So without further ado, let's get started with the questions. My name is Jessica, but I typically go by Jess, Jessabelle, or Jessie. However, typically my friends will call me Jess. I was born in Heidelberg, Germany, but I live in Texas now. The only reason I had been born overseas rather than in Texas was because my parents were deployed due to being in the military at the time. So they happened to be in Germany at the time of my birth, which was pretty cool actually. So I turned 21 right smack dab in the beginning of the COVID situation. So sadly, I actually haven't been able to go to a bar and have fun with my friends to get blacked out drunk like a lot of people do on their 21st birthday, but I'm hoping that I will be able to do that soon enough. My birthday's in March, so it makes me a Pisces. To be more accurate, my birthday is right in the middle of March 15th, and I am a 99 baby. So I won't lie with this question. I lived a very privileged life. My parents were middle class. We lived in a rich neighborhood around people who drove BMW, Lexuses, Mercedes, and people who could afford luxury cars for their kids like their sophomore year of high school. I never considered myself to be rich. We were middle class for sure, but I just never considered myself to be up there as in I'm rich, I have everything kind of attitude. I always tried to stay very modest. And that's just kind of how I live my life, honestly. One thing I can say about my upbringing is my parents were kind of very emotionless people. We just really never talked about feelings or things that were really going on in our life, which I definitely can see shows in my personality. And it's one thing that I wish that my family had been more prominent on. The person I'm closest with is definitely my dad. Me and my dad just have very similar personalities. We have the same kind of humor. He was someone that was just always really easy for me to talk to. I always felt like I couldn't really talk to my mom about a whole lot of things just because we had very clashing personalities. But also, my dad is someone who let me experience my life. I was able to go on all these really cool school trips that let me get a lot of experience, especially in regards to culture, which is one of the best things I think that I have taken from my life personally is how much I've was able to travel around the world and get to know different types of people, which I couldn't have done without my dad. And we also got to explore, our love of hockey together. It was something that we did together, and it's always going to be something that is going to be that father-daughter bond. So I think it's easy to say I'm very grateful for my father. He gave me all of these really cool life experiences that I could get from him. But also, I'm really grateful for my aunt. My aunt was an extremely creative and artistic person. And anytime that she would come visit from Vermont, she always had an art activity that she would do with me. And it kind of really made me love art, even though I'm absolutely trash at it. But it did make me really appreciate art, especially as I grew up. So now that I've lived in dorms for about 3 years, I can definitely say that home for me is a feeling. I used to look at my dorm room and go, oh, this is just temporary. I'll be back to a place that I love soon after I finish school. But over the years, I've been able to decorate my dorm to where it truly feels like a home. And every time I'm in my dorm room, I feel safe and I'm proud to live here. And I want that feeling to obviously also go over to my apartment that I'm going to be getting next year. But now I can proudly say that when I walk in my dorm, it feels like home. And even sometimes when I'm home in my own room, where I live in San Antonio, it almost kind of feels weird because I'm in my dorm 9 months out of the 12 months of the year. So now my dorm is more my home than my actual house. So I do go to school. I currently go to university where I'm studying biomedical sciences. I'm in my senior year, so I'll be getting my bachelor's degree next year. From there, I'm going to enter pharmacy school to get my PhD. And I also will have a minor in chemistry. So as a student, I try to stay really focused on school. Obviously, I will go out with friends and we'll have fun, but if I have a lot of homework that week or if I have a test, I'll typically try to stay in, study, and do my best before going out and having fun, because school is a number one priority. I want to make sure that I keep my GPA up there to be a competitive applicant for med school. So my favorite subject in school right now is biology. I used to be a terrible biology student in high school, but then in college it just became one of my favorite subjects, especially since I take a butt ton of biology classes. But another subject that I really became interested in within this past semester was anthropology. I think it's just such an interesting subject to see like where we come from, how different cultures can't interrelate, how they're different, and all that kind of stuff. So that's another subject that I really, really love right now. So my favorite year of school, in high school, it was probably my senior year for obvious reasons that I was finally done with high school. And my favorite year in regards to university, I haven't gone through my senior year, but so far from freshman to junior, probably my junior year, my freshman and sophomore year, I was severely depressed and sad. And then my junior year, I finally decided to get out there, hang out with my friends more. And ever since then, I've been just such a more happy person. And I'm really glad that I was able to spend time with them. So my biggest struggle in school regarding to college and university was making new friends. I went to a university that not a lot of people from my high school went to, so I had to learn to make new friends all over again, which is something that I hadn't had to do since like elementary school. And it was kind of terrifying because I just didn't really know how to interact with people. I was a very shy person. So yeah, and so it was just really hard, but it was something, once I did it, I was able to network with more people and I've made more friends and I was able to really enjoy school because of that. So I would 100% be with someone that doesn't have the same beliefs as me. I think it's really important that we're able to connect with people who think differently but also think like us. And I think if we can strengthen that bond even with people who don't agree with us and try to understand their point of view, I think it just makes the connection so much stronger because you can mutually respect each other. So my best friends would definitely describe me as a shy person, but also as a person who's very outgoing once you get to know me. I would also say my friends describe me as smart and kind. Something that I typically can't tolerate is when people betray my trust. If I trust you with something and you go behind my back and spill it, or if you lie to my face, I'm not going to be able to trust you, and I'm probably going to cut you off from my friendship because I don't need people like that in my life. My advice for long distance friendship is to try to keep in contact every day, check up on each other, but also be honest with each other. Sometimes things may be said over text and maybe you don't know if that person is joking or not. It's very hard to know if someone is joking because sometimes you can't tell by their facial expressions or their body language because you're just not there in person, and that can create a lot of miscommunications and it can cause really just not great consequences that can cause an end of a friendship. One of my biggest love regrets is getting into a relationship with a person who didn't know what they want and was too immature for a relationship at the time. I would definitely describe my best friend as someone who is extremely extroverted. She loves to talk to people. She loves to meet new people. She loves to go out and she loves to have fun. And she's very kind. She's very funny. And she just has such great dark humor that makes you laugh, but it doesn't make you feel bad for laughing at it. I think best friends of the opposite sex are great. Sometimes you really just need to talk to another person that's not the same sex as you to get your feelings out there. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. And that doesn't mean that it has to be a sexual relationship or it's the case of, oh, well, he likes her, so they're best friends and she doesn't know, or vice versa. Like, they're just friends. Like, let them be friends. And if it does get to something more serious, then hey, good for them. I don't think being friends with your exes is a serious issue unless that relationship was extremely toxic to your mental state and to you emotionally. If you ended the relationship on good terms because either the timing was off or it was just you weren't that compatible with each other, then I think staying friends is completely fine. But if it was because they were toxic or because they caused a lot of emotional stress on you, then being friends with your ex is probably not the best idea. I am, in fact, still in touch with my childhood friends. We talk almost every day. We have a big group chat that we text in and update each other on and see what we're doing. And every now and then, especially during holiday breaks, we try to get together. So we're all still really good friends, which I'm really grateful for because I know that sometimes your high school friends don't stay your friends as you move into college and as you move to different areas of the country and get new jobs. Sometimes you fall out of touch. So I'm really glad that I am still in touch with my friends. One of my favorite artists right now is probably Unlike Pluto, and then one of my favorite bands right now, definitely AJR. I love both of their music and I listen to them on the daily. My favorite book by far that I've read throughout my entire year in high school and college would definitely be In Cold Blood. It's just an amazing true story. And then my favorite author would definitely be William Shakespeare. I just really love Shakespeare's writing, and I love his stories, and Hamlet and Romeo and Juliet are some of my favorites. So my favorite TV show of all time, definitely Roswell. Just really love that show. I've watched it probably about 4 times, not gonna lie. My favorite movie would probably be... Oh, that's a hard one. Honestly, it would be any of the Star Wars movies. I just absolutely love Star Wars. And I'm one of those people who do like the newer movies of Star Wars. You can hate on me, but to be honest, I like them. So my favorite holiday, this is a hard question because obviously I really love Christmas because who the heck doesn't like Christmas? But besides Christmas, I would say my favorite holiday is probably 4th of July or New Year's because I just really love fireworks and I love driving out to the spot near Six Flags and watching the fireworks go off. And I always take videos and pictures and I just love fireworks. So my favorite food would probably be enchiladas. I am a sucker for enchiladas. But pasta, any kind of pasta is like a close second, 100%. Just love my carbs. So I have a few favorite drinks. My favorite sodas would probably be Dr. Pepper and root beer. And then for like hot drinks, definitely coffee or hot chocolate. So some of my hobbies when I'm not doing anything typically include swimming, watching TV, listening to music. I really love to color, and I love word searches. I'm such a nerd. So my best achievement would probably be getting 3rd place in regional German UIL. So I was in German club, and I decided to enter the UIL competition, and I did a photo board where you basically told a story, and then you had to do the captions in German. So I did a story about German architecture of houses in the neighborhood here, and that got third place, which I was really happy about. I think when we went to state, I think I got sixth place, which was pretty awesome. So on my bucket list, definitely visiting Australia is probably on my top priority. Another thing that I've always wanted to do is go to one of those wolf sanctuaries where you can actually like interact with like wolves, which is really, really cool. And I think honestly those are the top two things right now. I just don't have a whole lot right now. But also probably like traveling the rest of the world would probably be pretty cool too. So, my biggest lesson learned, honestly, is don't trust everyone you meet. Some people you're going to tell things to, and they might go behind your back and spill all your secrets, and that can be really shitty, especially when you would never do that to them. So, I'm 100% an introvert. I'm always a person who's very shy, so typically I stay inside a lot because I don't like to go and do things alone. I always want someone to come with me whenever I go do something. It's just the person I am. And every time I have to do something alone, I just get really bad anxiety. But I'm trying to change that, and it is getting better, but it's a work in progress. If I could change anything about my past, I feel like it would be to be more outgoing and not be so shy and be able to express myself more freely rather than keeping everything kind of bottled inside myself. I'm the kind of person who forgives very, very easily. If I make a mistake or if I'm mad at you and it's something, I will always go to that person and apologize and try to make everything better because I don't like being an angry person. So I definitely forgive very easily, which definitely is kind of a flaw of mine, but I'd rather be happy than be angry at a person all the time. I would say the best phase of my life was probably in high school, my senior year. I was honestly just my whole ass self. I think one thing people misunderstand about me is that they think that I hate them just because I don't talk to them. And a lot of times it's because either I'm very intimidated by them, or I forget, or I'm just so tired that I just want to be left alone. When I was younger, I wanted to be a veterinarian, but as I grew up, I realized that I don't think I could handle the sight of blood, and I don't think I could handle putting animals down, to be honest. I think even if I didn't know the animal personally, I think I would cry every single time. And I think I just wouldn't be able to do it. My favorite place in the entire world to go to, honestly, is probably Switzerland or Austria. Both of those places are just extremely beautiful, and the scenery with the mountains is so relaxing to me. When I went there, when I went to Europe, my summer of senior year high school, it was gorgeous and it was so beautiful, and I was just so relaxed and like didn't have a care in the world, and it made like going into college like kind of relaxing almost. Like I was like, I can do this. So I've had four dogs and I've had one cat my entire life. And I definitely say I do prefer dogs. I think dogs are just more fun because they're way more playful. And I've just always like kind of clung to dogs, but I do love my cats. So don't get it twisted. One thing that I have found really deeply unsettling lately is the amount of Amber Alerts Texas has been getting. We've been getting an Amber Alert for children probably 2 or 3 a day, which is really disturbing for obvious reasons. I would definitely rather be loved just because of the fact that I've spent my whole life, loving people and falling in love with people only to realize that it's so disproportionate from the amount of love that I've given versus the amount of love I've received from people. So I'm 100% a pessimist, I will admit it. The only reason I prefer to be a pessimist is I prefer knowing the outcome of if everything goes wrong, this is what's going to happen. So then that way, when the worst doesn't happen, I honestly am more happy and free and feel good about myself. I've never been to Los Angeles, but I have been to New York City, and I absolutely love New York City. I was only in New York for a few days, and it was like the best. It was one of the best experiences I've ever had. I would love to further explore New York City and the sights, the scenes, the food, 100%. One thing that I always procrastinate on is finalizing plans. The thing with me is sometimes there are days where I'll make a plan that we're going to do something in a week, like go to the beach. And then the day that we're supposed to go to the beach, I end up not being in the mood, or I end up really tired. And so then I have to cancel plans, and I hate disappointing people. So I try not to say that I'm going to be somewhere or do something unless I'm 100% sure, because I don't want people to be disappointed. So, where do I like to go when I go out? Definitely steakhouses if we're doing like a fancy restaurant. If we're talking like just cheap fast food, definitely prefer Whataburger or Sonic. So, I'm starting to learn how to cook, and I actually really, really enjoy cooking because I like knowing that I can, make myself food without having to buy frozen dinners or going out to a restaurant to get decent food. My favorite season, definitely fall. I love seeing the leaves change colors, especially to that really gorgeous orange color. It's one of my favorite sceneries. And I love fall, especially in Texas, because Texas it's always freaking hot. So when it's fall, it's typically around 70, which is a really nice, cool temperature here that I can go out in shorts but not be freezing my butt off or be sweating to death. My favorite dessert definitely would be treloche. I love treloche. I remember first trying it when we went to this Mexican restaurant, and it was absolutely delicious. And honestly, every time I go to a restaurant, if treloche is on the menu, I'm straight buying it, and I just straight gobble it up. It's so good. So I first started streaming because before I started streaming, I had 26 followers, and people were kind of like, you should stream. Like, I really like you. I enjoy your personality. So I said, fuck it, let's do it. And I started to stream. I started streaming off of my MacBook, so I did not have the most high quality streams, but people supported me anyways and came to my streams. So it was just something that I really found to be enjoyable and to get away from stress for sure. So depending on the day and the time, I stream on two different things. So if I'm streaming in the morning, most of the time I'm probably streaming off my PS4. And then if I'm streaming at night, I'm probably streaming off my HP computer. It's just a laptop, so obviously not the most high quality stream, but it works, and hey, I can stream off it, so why not? So I started streaming about last year, probably June, and as soon as I started streaming, I probably hit affiliate about 2 weeks after that. So that was really cool because I got a ton of support right away, which is really just amazing, and I'm so happy and blessed. So I've been in a total of 2 organizations. The first organization I joined in was a really good way to get me on my feet, kind of expect what I should be doing as a streamer, and I was able to gain a lot of friends and support from that organization, and I will always be blessed to have met people from there. I did end up leaving the organization around May due to some personal issues, so then I joined another organization, which has been one of my favorites so far. I've just really made a lot of friends here and have made a lot of family, and they're very supportive, and I just absolutely love everyone in here. So games that I typically stream include Smite, and then I'll also play some mini games like Strike Bold, which is like a dodgeball game, Overcooked 2, which is really fun. It's like a cooking game. But you'll also see me streaming viewer games like Jackbox, Uno, Monopoly, and then occasionally I'll do some coloring streams if I'm feeling really frisky. So my stream schedule tends to change a lot because I typically stream around my actual school schedule, which changes every semester. And then during the summer, I typically stream in the morning and at night, just depending on how I'm feeling. I think the hardest part about being a streamer is time management for me, just because I want to be able to stream, but I still have to be able to go to bed at a decent time to wake up in the morning and then also be able to finish my homework on time. So sometimes when I get a lot of homework, I can't stream and it makes me sad, but it happens. I think the best part about being a streamer, though, is being able to interact with other people and see how people that I've never met before actually like my content and want to support me, want to follow me, want to subscribe to me, which is a really amazing feeling because you never really expect that, to be honest.